In Streetball, for the final time, if they still don't fix the game with future updates, I've asked you some questions so that we can answer them on the next episode of ISIAY. Leave your questions on the comments below, and I'll answer some of them on the next episode of ISIAY. Alright everyone, welcome back to ISIAY number 8. And, well, it looks like this would be our final episode. Since, the game itself just doesn't want to fix their stuff. The developers, they just don't really care anymore. As long as they make that money, they just are gonna keep ignoring the most glaring, obvious problems of their game. So yeah, I'm gonna be quitting SBA, and so ISIAY would be abandoned as well. Maybe, replaced by a new one if we do find a new game to play. But for now, this would be our final ISIAY. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into answering some of your questions. So, the first question that we have here comes from Paulo Ramirez 1978, who asks, does Screen Expert Level 3 make much of a difference on screen range for Emma, or it's a waste of talent? Does Evasion Expert Level 3 have a better chance of getting successful contests on screen? Assisted dunks, a screen immunity can give you better positioning and timing to block them instead of contest level 3. Getting hit by screens completely bypass contest expert talent. So those are really good questions. So let's divide those two and let's answer the first part. So firstly, does Screen Expert Level 3 make such of a difference in screen range for Emma, or it's a waste of talent? So in all honesty, I'd say it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I really wouldn't say it makes that much of a difference. As you know, before I'm quitting, I was trying to make a pure support Emma build. That was going to be my latest experiment. And I've found that Screen Expert doesn't really increase your screen range by that significantly. So I would say that no, it doesn't really increase it significantly. It really doesn't, but I still would say that it's worth it, since I still do get some good screens, and I think it does help a little bit. It's just that it doesn't help as much as it should, which in my opinion is a good thing. I don't want Robbie being even more busted with that ability, But yeah, overall, I'd say it's not really... It doesn't make that much of a difference, but it still does make a difference, which is pretty nice, That is a pretty nice change to still have. So I wouldn't say it's not worth it to get it. It's just that it's not as effective as it really should be, in my opinion, when it comes to actually supporting your screens. So the second part, does Evasion Expert Level 3 have a better chance of getting successful contests and screen-assisted dunks? No, it doesn't really. It doesn't really make it any easier, because, in all honesty, this one as well, this talent, Evasion Expert Level 3, I don't really see the difference either. I have it on a Nikolai, on my other account. It doesn't make him any faster on recovery. It really doesn't make him any faster, so I don't even really think it works. And no, it's not going to be that helpful against dunks either, since, well, it's still, the recovery it gives you just isn't really that good still, compared to others. It just really doesn't give you that much of a difference. Really, the only useful skill when it comes to this is Robbie's screen ignore. That's really it. Nothing else. Nothing else comes even close to that. And Evasion Expert, not really worth it in my opinion, because it doesn't really change anything. I don't really see any changes when I use it. So yeah. I wouldn't really say it's worth it to get this. I barely, and I mean I barely. Actually, no, scratch that. I don't see any difference when I use this for Nikolai or for other characters for that matter. I really don't see any difference, so I wouldn't really recommend that you get this. You're better off getting Contest Expert, since even though, like you said, if you don't connect, it's nullified, you don't really get any bonus, but if you do connect, at least that would still reduce dunk accuracy, so I get Contest Expert instead of getting Evasion Expert, since I gotta tell, I really don't see Evasion Expert doing anything. I think it's a broken skill. It doesn't really work, I gotta be honest. But yeah, thank you very much for that question, Paulo Ramirez. And guys, we'll move to our final question. That's right, we only have 2 questions today that are actually true questions. And this question comes from 29 Razans. So 29 Razans asks, DCD is pretty good. I think you should try Hoopland. Hoopland is a good game as well. Do you have a favorite NBA player, and did you watch the NBA Finals? Another personal question, so I appreciate that. So I've actually tried Hoopland. I don't think it's for me. I can see the appeal, but personally, I just really don't think it's for me. But yeah, I can see the appeal of it. I can see why some people actually like it. It does look like, effort was actually put into it. So that's very, very, something I really appreciate, I really do appreciate that. But yeah, Hoopland just isn't really for me. I think the graphics and the controls doesn't really fit my style of gameplay that I like to do. But yeah, to those who want to try out another basketball game, you can try Hoopland. You might like it. You might actually like the game. But yeah, let's go to the actual question. Do you have a favorite NBA player? And I do. I do have a favorite NBA player. And just shoot me if you're in the street. Just shoot me. I know I'm gonna get castrated for this, but LeBron is my GOAT. LeBron is my GOAT. He is the greatest player of all time for me. And he is my favorite player because I really do enjoy watching him. He's very entertaining to watch, especially when it comes inside. Pause. But yeah, he's a really good player. He's a really good player. He is the greatest player, actually, of all time, in my opinion. And he is my personal favorite player. Another player that I like is, if we're talking about current stars, I like Kawhi as well. I'm a big fan of defense, and his mid-range game is insane. But if we're talking about legends, I also like Larry Bird and Wilt Chamberlain. I like those guys. But yeah, fall time, my favorite player would be LeBron. And I do think that he's the GOAT. I do think he's the greatest player of all time. So let's go to the second part. The question, did you watch the NBA Finals? And I sort of followed it. I weren't keeping my eye on it that much. I just sort of followed it. See, obviously, since LeBron is my favorite player, I am rooting for the Lakers. And, they got eliminated in the first round by the Wolves. And after that, I really just wasn't watching that much. But if the other teams I were actually rooting for made it, I would have actually followed and watched, but they didn't. So the other team that I was actually following was the Bucks, who I said were the black horse of the finals. That everybody were underestimating them, and there's a good chance they're gonna prove them wrong. No, they got eliminated the first round too. So yeah. Then they got eliminated. I said, okay, then I can root for the Clippers just so I can finally see Harden get that ring. I'm rooting for him because, man, he's just getting so disrespected. I hope he gets a ring. Then he got eliminated too. So After that, I just said, all right, fine. If there's a win that I don't mind winning, the championship, if they get it, I'd be pretty happy for them. And that would be the Pacers. And they actually got to the finals, but as you know, they lost to the Thunders. But they did put up a pretty good fight, so if they won, I wouldn't have minded. It's not that I mind, Thunders winning. It's just that I would have preferred Pacers to win for Halliburton, but that's fine. I really didn't watch it closely. I just sort of followed along, and congratulations to the Thunders for actually being the NBA champions for 2025. But yeah, LeBron's my favorite player, and I sort of watched it. I wasn't really following it, or I wasn't really watching closely. I was just sort of following it from afar. But yeah, thank you very much for that question. 29 reasons. And guys, those are really the only questions that we have for CI this time. So I'm going to tell you a story again. But first, before I do that, I'll just read a couple of comments here. This is pretty much what the others have been saying anyway. One is from Jeremy Abdul Nasir. I've migrated to DCD. I've actually played DCD too, so yeah. Another is from Angkoing Go. Dunk City Dynasty is better than SBA. You should try it because I'm having fun with Roblox B-Swarm. Yeah, I have actually tried Dunk City Dynasty. I have. And like I said, I've actually had fun with the game. I have. I think the game is fun. I think that, it has a lot of potential. It's just that a lot of things can be improved for sure. First of all, the rebounding. It's just so bad. The rebounding compared to other games just is really bad, It's inconsistent. It feels more like a chore than you actually playing. And playing defender is so much better because you're actually able to do something. So yeah, the rebounding just is not for me. The rebounding in the game, very bad in my opinion, could be improved a lot. The other thing that could be improved as well is the contesting mechanic. It is way too tough to contest shots. Especially SGA. I know that's his entire shtick, right? That he's hard to contest, but still, it is way too hard. So it is a little too tough for me to actually enjoy that part as well. And when it comes to block timing, it's so inconsistent too. It is so inconsistent. I swear I'm jumping properly to block Giannis or Kuminga, even Andrew Wiggins. I swear I am jumping properly. I have timed it. But for some reason, they still keep on dunking on me. It's really weird. And I have a max block build Julio, or I'm trying to get one. And blocking it, or block stat should be able to actually help you out with that. It doesn't really help me out. In fact, when I got it, it just got harder to actually block those dunks. It just got harder. I got more inconsistent. So, yeah, it's just really, really hard to actually do that stuff. It's very inconsistent. The game is just very inconsistent when it comes to those things. But, other than that, Dunk City Dynasty, pretty fun game, I guess. Pretty fun game. I might start recording for that. That's where you guys come in. I want you guys to tell me a game, or tell me games that you'd like to actually see, so that I can record them. Since I really don't have any backup games. I really don't have any backup games I can think of at this moment. Since, SBA has really been the one game that I legitimately enjoyed recording, and I legitimately enjoyed making videos about, and I was legitimately good at helping people out with. So when that game went to crap, I pretty much don't have a second game already waiting. Maybe DCD, I don't know. Make sure to tell me down in the comments below if you want to see a specific game. I'd be happy to check it out. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my story. So, my story is about the OG BS shooter. You know what I mean? So, if you don't know, a BS shooter is basically a guy who keeps shooting contested trees and who keeps sinking contested trees, okay? A BS shooter is basically a guy who's gonna keep shooting contested trees, even if it's in his face, if it's from a little far away, he's gonna keep shooting that and he's going to keep making it. So, when I started SBA, the players, they still weren't that good. Obviously, there were some that already were, really good. Like, really good at the game. There were some, but most of the players, not really all that good, especially since I still was starting. I was at low rank, so a lot of players really weren't that good. But while I kept playing and kept playing, it was actually pretty early when I saw her, but I played with a player named Krays. Krays. That's how you spelled it. Krays. So Krays, I was able to actually play with her, and she mained Maggie. Okay, she mained Maggie. That was the only character that she really played. But here's the thing. Whenever she played Maggie, whenever we actually played, she took a lot, and I mean a lot, of bad shots, okay? She wasn't a good player. Krays was not a good player. I want you to know this. She wasn't horrible, because, yeah, she still actually passed the ball, which a lot of players don't do, so she was still a legend for that, but she really wasn't that good of a player, Krays. And again, like I said, she mained Maggie, but whenever she shot a contested tree, I swear to you, it had a 50% chance of going in, which is crazy. Especially since, get this, we weren't even at the lowest. We were already at around Platinum and Diamond. We were already at Platinum and Diamond, and she was shooting contested trees and still making them. 50% of the time. I'm not joking when I said that. When I say 50% of the time, I literally mean 50%. That I'm not even worried if she shoots a contested tree, because I know 50% of the time it's going in. I don't know what she did, but whenever she, shot a tree as a Maggie contested, 50% of the time it was going in. So there was a point where she kept shooting bad shots, and I wasn't even worried. She shot 6 contested trees in a game. She made 3 of them. This was before Yasmin. This was before Ace. This was before OP 3-pointers. No, this was still terrible Maggie, era. Well, Maggie's still pretty bad right now, because it's mediocre. She's mediocre. Mediocre is bad right now. But yeah, this wasn't like an Ace Maggie or something. No, this was SS Maggie that I'm pretty sure didn't even have maximum clothes yet. She was shooting 50% for contested trees. And so we played for a good bit, but then it was pretty early when she actually left the game. She left it after we played only about less than 100 games. We played less than 100 games, right? And then she left. So for about 6 months, we haven't actually seen each other. She hasn't logged in, but then after about 6 months, she does log in, right? She logs in back to her account. And I see that she actually has a Fire King. So she invited me to play again, and I accepted, of course. This is the legendary Krays, right? I legitimately loved having her as a teammate because, again, her friggin' contested 3-point shooting ability was insane. But yeah, she invited me to play, right? She invited me to play. So I did. I accepted. And I saw that she was actually using a fire king. So I said, okay, so now it's even more powerful. And again, she isn't a great player, so she's going to keep shooting bad shots. You know what happened? She started shooting contested trees with fire king. She didn't make any. She just couldn't make any contested trees. And so I suggested, hey, Crace, maybe try using Maggie again. You know, just for fun. And so she listened to me and she said, alright, I'll use Maggie for a game. What happened? Well, she shoots 2 more contesteds. Both of them went in as a Maggie. So yeah, I don't know what it is with Crace and her Maggie account, but it's insane. It is insane, her Maggie. Legitimately, Crace makes about 50% of her contested trees if she only uses Maggie. If she doesn't use Maggie, she's not making it. But if she uses Maggie, she makes about 30% or 50%, which is an insane amount. Again, you gotta remember, this was still SS. At this point, I think she did have maximum clothes, but still, that's just SS. That is not ace yet. And she was shooting those shots. It was insane. She had to be a Maggie as well, of course. But yeah, that's the story of the original BS3 shooter. That is the story of the legendary BS3 Maggie shooter who can shoot 50% of her contested trees. And it's all going in. It's insane. So yeah. That is the story of the legendary Crace, you know? Legendary Crace with her Maggie that shoots 50% from the field when she shoots contested trees, which is an insane amount. It's a really crazy amount. Like, seriously. That is an insane amount. But yeah. That right there is the story that I wanted to share with you guys. Crace is one of the guys that really got me into the game too. Just because it was ridiculous. I was just laughing my butt off, right? Because she just kept making contested tree after contested tree. Like, no problem at all. It just wasn't hard for her at all to make them. So yeah, I just kept laughing my butt off. It was so fun since I pretty much didn't have to do anything. Crace just had to shoot a contested tree, and 5 times out of 10, it's going in. It's just going in. You cannot stop Crace. You know? Crace is just insane. For some reason, she was blessed with a Maggie that never misses. I don't know how. I really don't know how. But yeah. Crace was able to actually get just those contested shots to go in. It's insane. It's insane. But yeah. That's it for ISIAY, guys. It's been a fun time. And it has been actually, it's been, I'm pretty sure 8 months since ISIAY happened, and it's been 3.25 years since I started playing SBA, but it's just too bad at this point, you know? I'm really not enjoying SBA at all at this point, which is why I really am quitting. It just isn't fun anymore for me, especially with all the stupid things that SBA is doing right now. They're just not fixing the game, so it's really, really frustrating. That's why, yeah, I'm quitting for now, but maybe I'll come back, you know? Maybe I'll come back if, for some reason, SBA has a change of heart, you know? Maybe they'll get a change of heart. Maybe they'd start to actually make good updates by nerfing characters that need nerfs, by actually giving good updates for free-to-plays. And if that happens, if a miracle like that happens, then maybe, just maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that I might actually come back to this game. When I say I love SBA, I mean it. I really did love this game, okay? Not do anymore. I really don't anymore, but I did love this game. I really did. SBA is the one game, okay? SBA is one of the only games that I legitimately never stopped playing, ever. Like, most of the time when I find a game that I play, I'm going to actually stop playing it after just a little bit, just a little while. I'm going to stop actually playing it that much. I am. But SBA, I stuck with it for 3 years, and I got 3.25 years. And for 3.25 years, I've always just stuck with SBA because it was legitimately fun. But, now with all this stuff happening, I have to stop SBA for now. So you guys tell me what you want to see next. What game do you want me to play? If you're still gonna watch, I really appreciate it. But if you don't want it, that's fine. Just tell me. What game do you want to watch me play? Maybe another basketball game, maybe a non-basketball game. Just tell me, and I'd be happy to play it for you guys, as long as I actually enjoy playing it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope that you've been entertained by it somehow. There's nothing really that you can learn from this, but I hope you did enjoy watching. So that, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.